All right, another white, another bird opening. If I win this game, I think I'm going to break 2,500. It's going to be a great day for the bird. All right, we'll play e3 here. Knight c3, we'll play d3, e4. What do I do here? I think we play h3. We want to get g4. We want to get the Chernobyl porcupine. The fabled Chernobyl porcupine. Bishop is coming to g2. We're going to castle. These have to be the strangest positions in the whole repertoire. And that's saying something because the entire repertoire is bizarre. All right, where's my queen going to go? I normally like e2. e2 is normally the better square, but I'm thinking e1 might be better to transfer. You could easily argue either. Another benefit of queen e1 is that if I play e4, I don't need to worry about knight d4. This is bizarre stuff. I could also try f5 takes, and no, I don't think that's going to really work. I mean, what are we going to do here? Queen e1, d4. I don't like d4, but no, d4 we play knight d1. I mean, the question then is, which is my queen really better on e1 than e2? Another thing to keep in mind is, should my rook be coming to e1 that soon? Man, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for which is the better square. I'll put the queen on e2. I think e2 is standard. I think you shouldn't be getting risky here. d4 we could take, and play knight e4. It's completely fine. All right, if we play e4 now, well, knight d4 is actually annoying. e4, knight d4. No, takes, we play knight d1. e4, knight d4, takes, knight d1, takes. I'm going to bring the knight to f2 and d3. That's interesting, actually. You know, let's go for that. I don't know what's happening. Maybe I was supposed to bring the knight around first. I think this is okay. If I can play e5, things are going well. This is bizarrely turned into a Dutch. This has turned into a London system versus the Dutch, but up a critical tempo. Yeah, I'm thinking now my knight was probably better on f2. I should have transferred it over first. All right, d4. I'm very happy to see that. Knight is going to move around to f2. Let's play, oh well, a4, then I'm letting the knight get into b4 long term. Yeah, these positions are very tricky. He's going to be playing c4 though. So a4, a6, takes. Is that to my benefit? My rook gets the open a file. I don't know. Very complicated stuff. Let's play knight f2. He plays c4. I don't really think it's the end of the world. c4, we could play f5 and then h4 and g5. Just start throwing the pawns up the board. All right. Dude is pushing for c4. We do not want to play e5 here. e5 is going to give life to both of these pieces. Let's play f5. I'm starting to think black actually might be in a dangerous position here because he's already played rook c8. He cannot castle queenside. And given that now this is turning into a King's Indian, he would have liked to castle queenside here. I'm sure that's why he's delaying castling, because he sees the writing on the wall. Do we play a4 here? Actually, I like a4 a lot now. Because now we're threatening to open the a file. He needs to keep the queenside closed for... So I would have assumed he wanted to keep the queenside close so that his king could run there, but maybe not. Maybe I'm misinterpreting. This dude is sending me a lot of mixed signals. We gotta report him to the police, to the chess police. There. Okay, that's interesting. His bishop wants to come to g8. Can't I take and then win a pawn, though? g6 also looks frisky, but, takes, bishop takes. He takes there on f5. I play bishop g7. I feel I should be much better there. Some bananas. Bananas position. Actually, wait, let's take here. I'm going to drill my knight into h6. That's going to be very annoying. Once my knight comes to h6, queen is going to deal deadly damage. Queen is going to deal really deadly damage from h5. We're digging the knight into h6. Okay, here. Where should my knight go? Let's put the knight on e1. I like that. Just defending this. Queen is going to break through on h5. Bishop f7. Okay, I guess he has to do that. Let's play bishop f3. Notice how I have so much more space on the king side and I have so much more play that it does not matter that my king looks very vulnerable here. And with knight e1, I'm making sure that if c4, I do not need to deal with the pawn at all. If he takes, I'll take back, and he's still nowhere close to breaking through. Knight is defending this. Knight's also defending this entry point for his rook. This looks like a dream come true. Dude is in enormous trouble. If I take there, he's going to have so many weak light squares. Like already just takes, there. Right, takes. How's this going to work? Well, no, takes, queen takes. That's great for me. What are we going to do instead? Takes, bishop takes, queen h5. That should also be winning. No, that's actually quite tricky. Let's just take here. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, let me play queen g4 here. Queen g4 looks a little frisky, but the idea is that if bishop h6, I can take and then play queen g7. Really banana stuff. Maybe he could play bishop h6, I take, and then he plays rook. He plays this rook to g8, c4. c4 doesn't do anything, though. Let's take here now. It's time to make sure that my rooks can come in on both sides. Dude is in a lot of trouble here. b3 is also an idea. Dude is in enormous trouble now. Well, here, okay, queen g6. Let's bring the queen in. He plays knight d8. I have queen e8. Somehow or another, he's still holding on in all these positions, but it's only barely. It's only barely holding on. So we play queen e8. I don't have to play queen e8 yet. This knight isn't even going anywhere. What are we gonna do? Play b3. Just introducing the idea of bishop a3. Yeah, so bishop a3 first doesn't work because of b4, but I'll take, and then play bishop a3. Can't draw arrows. Right there. I'll just take back. Dude is in a lot of trouble. Yeah, bro's position is about to be getting attacked by either side. All right, so this really walls my pieces in, but on the other hand, now I have a square for my knight to go. Yeah, let's do that. Let's transfer the knight in. It's time to go. If he puts his rook on c2, then my rook can finally get into a8. He can't really move anything. If this knight moves, then I have access to one of these squares here. I could put my queen on e8 whenever I want, but I don't see the purpose of it. It doesn't really do anything, and it's just going to allow him a check on g8. Another idea I have here is knight g5. Knight g5 is very serious. Okay, rook c3. Now I'm just going to play rook a8. It's time to go. Queen e8 is a huge threat now. Notice how because the center is so locked out, my king is actually completely safe here. It's going to take him so long. He would have to take, then finally push to even get a check. Yeah, it's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen today, pal. Birdmaster's on duty. Queen e8, rook d8. This looks completely winning. Knight g5 is another nice idea. Look at that. Takes, bishop takes. He plays knight f6. We play queen e8, king d6, rook d8. That's over. It's completely over. All right, I don't know what that's about. His position is definitely going belly up. I guess he's going to try to sacrifice his queen to try to get something, but it's not going to do anything. It's way too late to try to sacrifice the queen and get something for it. There's really nothing else, though. I'm threatening this. I'm threatening queen e6. He has to just sacrifice the queen. Like queen c5 here, I play queen e6. There? No, we play queen e6 here. King c5. Well, there I play rook c8. This is a classic trick. Nice. All right. Let's see what happened in this game. Okay, we got the classic stuff. H3. Computer's saying H3 is inaccurate. I remember this being in my course. Was it queen e2 first? Am I supposed to play queen e2? Yeah, okay, I'm misremembering it. But I definitely play h3, g4 at some point. Maybe it's a slightly different line. Maybe it's like c5 here, then we play h3. Yeah, maybe this is what I'm thinking of. All right, so h3 slightly inaccurate. Definitely not the end of the world here. E4 is interesting. E4 is best. You could also play knight d1, knight f2 if you want. Definitely wouldn't be a problem here. I really like this setup of having knights here on f2 and on f3. Yeah, b5, bro's starting to get a little frisky. Knight f2. Knight f2 is inaccurate. What does it want me to play? I was thinking about a4, but I just didn't really see the point in it. But I guess it's a good idea. Yeah, no, now that we already have this, we already have what's equivalent to a King's Indian formation here. We're going to have great play on the king side if he castles. And so by playing a4, he pretty much has to play a6 because he needs to keep b5 under control because, of course, if he pushes, then he's just ceding all the light squares and our knights are going to have a field day and he can never break now because I can always just lock the queen side. So with a4, he has to play a6, but now I can always take, and his king is not going to feel safe in the center or on the queen side either. So this makes a lot of sense. So knight f2, queen b6, f5, played a4, h4, this is all good. Just throwing my pawns forward, f6, yeah, this guy panicked. I think he has to play takes. He has to take and just play bishop g8 here, probably. Yeah, this makes the most sense. I mean, when I say it makes the most sense, I'm speaking from experience, right? Like, this is actually a very difficult position for black to play now because it's not really clear where his king should be going. It's not going to be safe on the king side. Queen side also is opening up. So dude is just in a lot of trouble. G5. Yeah, this is interesting. Look, if he plays H5, then this pawn is going to become very weak. Knight E1, classic idea to threaten this. And if G6, then we play F6, and bishop is completely doomed here. Bishop is just trapped. These pieces are going to have a really tough time. This rook might be able to eventually come out, but the bishop isn't. He's going to be playing down a piece, and so here, if you've taken my domination course, the chessable one, the positional intuition one, you would know what to do. We've locked their piece out, so we should just be playing on the side of the board this piece cannot get to, which is the queen side. We should shift our focus to the queen side, even being happy to trade, because eventually if we trade off everything, he's going to be playing down a bishop on the queen side, and we should be easily winning. All right, but anyway, bro played f6, I took, got my knight to g4. Apparently I was supposed to take. Yeah, taking is a little better and then knight g4. Then we're guaranteed to have the a file open, which is very relevant. Yeah, if knight g4 is bad, then I would assume... Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why did it want me to take here? The only reason it would point out any difference between a takes and knight g4 was if black was going to seal up the queen side. But this doesn't work. So yeah, I have a lot of questions for the chess.com computer. I don't really understand what it's talking about. But anyway, we drill the knight into h6. Yeah, of course this knight, in itself, this would look very risky to put the knight here. But at the end of the day, I have all my pawns. I have extra space on the king side. He is in no position to trap this knight in time. Man plays bishop f7. We play bishop f3. Takes, queen g4. This is a miss. Yeah, he could play bishop h6 here. I didn't like this. What? I thought, isn't he doing okay here? Oh, I have bishop g5. I didn't see that. Bishop g5 is a nice move. I was only looking at bishop g7 and I thought he would be getting the piece back. Even this is going to be good though, right? We'll play bishop g6 and something like this will happen. I'm still up a pawn. I have very good play with this h-pawn. This should definitely be better here. The fact that I have my bishop on the same color as all these pawns doesn't really matter. What matters is that my king is going to be safer. And if he ever tries to open up the position, this bishop is only going to gain in strength. What did it want me to play, though? It wanted me to take. It's always pointing out, okay, I guess I learned my lesson here. It really wants me to just take to make sure that I can invade on the A file at the right time. All right, so queen g4, I take. Queen g6 is a mistake. King h2. That's a weird move. King h2, okay, on the one hand, that does make sense, right? They're like, the king gets out of the way of several different tactical ideas. There are no longer going to be any x-rays. There are no longer going to be any pins. Queen g6, interesting. If he plays king d6 here, he's doing okay. And what is the idea here of queen f7? Is he just going to play knight d8? King c7. Yikes. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, this makes... Look at that. Bishop c5, he's going to get his rooks in. All of a sudden, my king is going to be a little weak here. Wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, if I played king h2 and he tries king d6, let's see the difference. Here I have bishop f7, king c7, and bishop e6. Yeah, that makes a critical difference. My bishop is on the right diagonal here. Bishop on the right diagonal, look at what we're doing. Now with our king out of the way, we could actually think about taking here. And once we take there, his king is going to be more exposed. We don't need to worry about a check. His pawn would have to move then. Computer is saying he should just sacrifice the pawn outright by playing rook d8, but yeah, this bishop is superb here. This reminds me of reverse situations in the advanced French, where normally you're playing black and your bishop tries to go from c6 to a4 to c2 to get on this side of the pawn chain. All right, so queen g6, this is a mistake. b3, this is a miss. Apparently I'm supposed to play knight f3 here. Yeah, I was supposed to go for this sooner. Look at that, knight g5 is very strong. b4, we could throw the knight to g5. Computer wants to get the king out of the way first. Okay, so let's say king gets out of the way, he plays b3, we play knight g5. What is the threat of knight g5, though? All right, it wants me to take first, so let's say takes happens, then knight g5. I can't make heads or tails of what the computer is recommending. So the computer really wanted me to play knight f3, but now that black has played b3, they're not going for it anymore. Okay, let's look at this, though. Like, let's say that they play, I don't know, knight b7. Knight g5, what is the deal here? If they take, what are we going to do? Okay, well, takes, this is definitely over, right? Like, he's losing on the spot here. But what does knight g5 threaten? That's what I didn't understand. Let's say he plays knight d6. Oh, we're going to play knight h7. Knight h7 is a really nice move. You see, guys, we have more space on the king side. We can just keep drilling our pieces in. By the way, if you like these positions that I'm going over here, this is actually turned into a King's Indian defense. So you would probably like to get something on the King's Indian. Am I selling something on the King's Indian? No. So you're going to have to just do your research and find something else. There are a lot of good resources out there. Gawain Jones has a good course on the King's Indian. Smiran has written a book on the King's Indian. There are a lot of people. Lots of King's Indian stuff out there. All right, I think that's more or less the end of the game. Like b3, this happened. My knight gets in. I play rook a8. Computer's saying that this is slightly inaccurate. I don't really see the problem. And then I just win. All right, let's keep it moving. 2504. Guys, we're 2504. This is fantastic. All right, playing Ultimate Tactical. Let's get some king pawn in here. Time for some king pawn. Bishop c4. Okay, we'll play knight f6. I assume we're gonna... Oh, d4. That's interesting. I like d4. Kudos to this guy, not playing the d3 Italian. Not playing the most hated opening in the land. The most hated opening, but certainly not the most feared opening in the land. All right, here we play bishop c5. This is standard stuff. I can't remember the way the theory goes. I think it's bishop e3, and then we castle here. I should really be calculating this. Like this, these are the positions that if you miscalculate them, they're not going to be fun for you. Yeah, these are not going to go well if you cannot calculate. It's time to go. All right, takes. Yeah, we take here. I think that's a mistake. I think he's supposed to take with the knight first. That's the way I remember it. Okay, there. That's interesting. We play rook b8, they take on c6. Well, no, we play bishop a6 here, though. I think he made a mistake. This guy doesn't know the theory, I think. What's going on? Can we play queen b8 here? Queen b8 looks interesting. Queen e7 also looks interesting to attack e5. Rook e8 to attack e5. Takes, c5. This is all tricky stuff. Yeah, what's going on here? I want to play f6, but it's just going to run into knight e6. We could play rook e8, but yeah, how am I going to deal with this? This knight c6 move is very annoying here. Could play queen h4. I don't see what queen h4 does, though. It doesn't seem to do much of anything. Bishop e6, c5 is an interesting idea. I could also take and then play c5. I used to always play that way, but actually after they play bishop e3, this knight is running short of squares. And it can get a little dangerous. It can get a little dangerous a little quickly. But wait, actually, let's look at that. Takes c5, bishop e3, d4. Where does his bishop even go there? His bishop's going to go to c1. We play queen d5. No, then f3. I'm losing the bishop. Or I'm losing the knight. We could play f5 there, but that's still precarious. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. Rook e8 looks interesting. Attacking e5. Takes, queen d7. All right, I'll go for that. I don't know what to play here. I was laughing at my opponent's moves. I thought that bishop takes was inaccurate, but actually I don't think it is. It definitely is legitimate. Especially if you're playing the black pieces, you have to be a lot more humble, even if your opponent makes what looks like an inaccuracy. Got to be patient, got to be humble. You got to win with grace, and you got to lose with dignity. Yeah, I am a little tired. I'm a bit tired. And it's time to go. All right, this is interesting. I was thinking about taking. The idea of takes is that if they take my queen, I'm going to take here. They play king h1. Then I take on e5. That looks complicated. That looks complicated and doesn't necessarily look worse for me. I'm going to go for it.
It's time to go!
Am I certain that it works? No, I have no clue whether it works or not. But it looks very interesting. Very interesting is enough for me. He's definitely going to be thinking about it now. Does he want to take the queen or not? What's it going to be, pal? Because if he takes, I take here. He plays king h1. I take on e5. I think I have enormous compensation there. I'm already threatening knight g3 and rook e1. Knight g3 and rook h5 is another idea, but his queen is covering it for the moment. Very dangerous stuff. Okay, he's taken back. He does not want to. He does not want to tickle the scorpion. Right, let's play queen d7 here. Just push the knight out. He could take on e4. I take on c6. I'm not sure how bad that is. If he plays knight b4, yeah, knight b4. I guess I have to play bishop e5. I have to defend the queen. I gotta defend the... Well, bishop b7 takes... Yeah, this is tricky stuff. Very, very, very confusing stuff here. Bizarre. Bishop e5, a4. I don't really like that position. Because I think I'm just losing. Yeah, what am I going to do there? Am I just down a piece here? Maybe I have to play queen b5, but he takes on a6. That's not good. Okay, could I play... Yeah, this mouse is broken. Maybe I could play queen f5. Queen f5, f3, queen g5. That looks interesting. I'm not sure about that. Queen f5, f3, queen g5, rook e1. Do I have anything there, or am I just hallucinating? All right, we'll play queen f5. Hopefully something happens here. Maybe if he just... Wait, if he just plays rook f3... No, rook f3, I play queen g6. I'm keeping a hold on the bishop. I hope he gets materialistic with something like takes, and knight takes a6. There, we're playing queen g6. I think this is okay. Defending the bishop now. Like, even if I'm down a pawn here, this is so much better than being completely losing. Now if he plays... Well, there... No, that has to be over. Can't I just play rook d8? Rook d8, he takes on f7 with a check. I play there, and then I'm threatening rook d1 and knight g5. Dude is in so much trouble there. Oh, wait, look at this. Rook, if I do that rook to d8, takes here, rook d3, I cannot take on d3 because the rook is hanging. I think I have to move this rook to d8. Let's do it. Let's play this rook. Gotta move the other rook. Gotta be careful. You gotta win with grace and you gotta lose with dignity. Maybe I just missed the tactic. Maybe, should I just have played knight g5 there? Was knight g5 better? Knight g5, he could play rook d3. All right, here, this... He's in a lot of trouble here. Knight g5 is going to be a sledgehammer. I think he has to play rook d3. How many pawns am I down? Wait, when did he take 3 pawns? I want to call the arbiters. I got to launch an official investigation. I cannot believe he's gotten 3 pawns for the exchange. Sure, I've definitely let him take a few pawns, but how has he gotten 3 pawns? Something's rotten in Denmark. This is ridiculous. I only ever counted, I would have counted 1 pawn, maybe 2 pawns. Definitely not 3, though. 3, there's something suspicious. We got to get Birdmaster on line 1. All right, here I could even think about playing queen g6 because takes we take and ruin his structure, but we should not be going for an endgame. We're down 3 pawns. We can't go for an endgame here. Let's play rook b8. Or rook b8, rook b2. Yeah. Bizarre stuff at the moment. If he plays rook e1, I take on b2. That's complicated. He's getting e6 in. I'm happy to see that, because now when he plays that, that means his queen is going to be tied to the knight. We need to figure out a way to win pawns while also keeping our pieces extremely active. Let's play queen e6. Wait, actually, no, rook d2. I think rook d2 is better, because now my rook isn't hanging over here. Dude is in a lot of trouble. Dude is in the Dragon's Den of the Scotch Gambit. All right, queen e4. That looks interesting, but now we can start hitting this knight with queen a5, right? Queen a5. Where's his knight going to go? If his knight goes to a4, then it's going to be much worse than before. Yeah, I like queen a5. Pushing the knight around. You have to really hit upon their vulnerabilities when you're down 3 pawns. When they've cheated you out of 3 pawns. I know chess.com would never actually like change the board, but I'm really wondering, how did I ever lose 3 pawns to get this far? I'm launching an official investigation. This is cool. Look at this. If knight e2, I can take on a2 because takes I have mate. Dude is in a lot of trouble here. I think queen e4 definitely got him into hotter waters than before. He should have just given up the pawn here. He should have played something like queen e3, let me take, and then just started pushing f4, knight e4, and tried to get these pawns down the board. Yeah, what is he going to do, actually? Knight a4? Okay, knight a4. Can I just play rook d8? D8, he's going to play g3. Let's play... If I play rook e8... Yeah, wait, what is happening? Rook e8, he plays f4. I like rook e8. Rook e8 looks good. Because if he plays rook e1, I could just take on e5 there. This was my idea. I'm going to play g5. This is definitely... Okay, yeah, honestly, I'm going pretty bananas here. g5 is a really wild move. I should have calculated that. I think this actually works, but nonetheless, I should really not be going bananas when I'm already down 3 pawns. This is straight wild. And okay, let me play queen a6 here. Got to cover f6. He doesn't actually have any other checks. If he takes here, I play rook g8 and I'm going to win. But nonetheless, like the wilding diagnosis is still relevant. I should not be wilding like this. He plays rook f1 there. Wait, can't I just play queen e2 now? Because queen e2, queen f6, I play king g8. He doesn't have any more checks. He doesn't have a check here. Bro just played himself. Now I'm down 4 pawns. Where did those go? I have to report theft of pawns to the chessable police. I sacrifice pawns so recklessly, and then I wonder where they go. It's a sad situation. All right, there. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of moves. Rook d1 looks good. Because rook d1 takes, we're getting his king to come out, and then we play rook f8. He plays king g3 there. I play queen e1, queen e4. That should be mate soon. He could also, I think queen h3 is a really awful move. He should have played queen f3 and tried to trade queens. This is not the position you want to keep queens on the board on when I have so many powerful pieces. Rook d8 looks over, but rook d8 he plays knight c3. No, rook d8, knight c3, I play queen f2 and rook d1. That's over. All right, rook d8. Am I missing anything? He doesn't have any checks, so calculating this is actually much easier. Yeah, we'll play rook d8 here. Maybe he could try rook f1. No, rook f1, I play rook d1, g3, and then we take and then play rook d1. Yeah, the fact that he has no checks makes this so much easier. All right, nice.